Welcome to the Dynasty Dummies podcast, where we are a group of dummies, non-dummies alike this week, talking rookies, talking mock draft. And I have with me a star-studded cast tonight. We have the Dynasty Panic Room, we have Dynasty Wall Street, we have Dynasty Game Night, we have Trade Addicts, we have Split Takes, we have the Dummy Scouting Brief. We may have the open bar in the blitz. Who knows? We have half of the dummies. Kyle is off tonight, and we are going to run a two-round rookie mock draft with John Bosch at John Bosch FF, Russ Fisher at Dynasty Outhouse, Riley Bymaster at DTC_Riley B, Matt Foreman at Fat Mormon, Kevin Cotillo at Kevin Cotillo. And I am excited, fellas. How are you doing this evening?
That was a long intro. You've got a long list of people on here, Zach. I'm excited to be here. This is actually going to be the first rookie mock that I've participated in, so this will be a fun little exercise.
It is. I'm pumped. We got a lot of friends of the dummies going on here tonight, and we're going to start it off. This is going to be, unless J. Mike rolls in before pick 7, this will be a 12-team, don't tell Kyle, Superflex rookie mock draft. And we're going to start. The order is going to be completely randomized. We're going to start off with Russ, Kevin, Matt, John, Riley, and me with the 6th pick. So, Russ, start us off, Superflex.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love how quickly everyone jumped at Superflex the second we found out that Kyle was not going to be here. And not only did we jump at it, we evil laughed as we did it. So I love it because let's face it, quarterbacks are ridiculously valuable in Superflex. So I have the 101 in the rookie draft. This rookie draft that is so deep and rich at quarterback. So honestly, usually you're excited for the 101. I'm worried. I'm sitting here trying to think, do I take the golden boy Joe Burrow? I don't know. He's talking about he doesn't want to be in Cincinnati. Is he going to go play baseball or something like we had to worry about Kyler Murray? I don't know. Justin Herbert, last year, he would have been the quarterback one. Maybe I should take him. Teams seem to like him. And let's face it, David Gettleman might draft him just because he was the Senior Bowl MVP, and that's what David Gettleman likes to do. Who cares about Daniel Jones anymore? I mean, Tua, he seems healthy. He was walking. He had a little bit of a limp, but it's still so early. Jordan Love, everybody loves this guy's upside. Everybody loves his mechanics. Everybody, not his mechanics, his raw abilities. There were so many quarterbacks to think of. And the thing is, they're all so much more valuable than any other player because Superflex. All that matters is quarterbacks. You guys can't see our room right now, but there's someone in here, I won't say who, that has their name set up as QBs over everything. And it's so right. I mean, tell me that Jonathan Taylor is going to come in as a top 5 running back. I don't care. Give me a QB 23 over a running back 5 any day whatsoever. Because this is Superflex, quarterbacks over everything. Man, how was that like that? I tried to go for as long as I possibly could, but yeah.
You did not get the Jake Fromm yet, right, who I assume will go 7th overall in this Superflex.
I was.
You also didn't make
completely frozen over names. We're supposed to pick people? I thought we were just talking about quarterbacks. So 101, I'm taking Joe Burrow. The dude's going to go 101 in the NFL draft unless the Cincinnati Bengals pull a Cincinnati Bengals. So I figure that's pretty much the easy pick. Joe Burrow, 101.
So I had a quick thought that maybe you would let Joe Burrow slip for some reason because you clearly don't like quarterbacks. I know you're a huge running back guy, so I thought you were going to go running back. But so I'm a little thrown off my game immediately right here, Russ. But I think I can rebound. I'm actually going to go quarterback too because quarterback's over everything, right, Bosch? And I'm going to take Tua. I don't know. Look, the hip injury scares me for sure, but there is no doubt in my mind that if he had not been injured, this guy would be the 101. He is an absolute stud. He's accurate. He's got all the intangibles. He's a born leader. And, there's already reports that he's going to be cleared for for activities pretty soon. I mean, so yeah, he may be walking with a limp, but even with a limp, I expect this guy to go out in the field and game. So I'm going to take Tua. To me, it's an easy choice in a super flex league.
I like that. I'm going to jump in real quick. I like that pick. And I tweeted out, I don't know, last week that I think Tua is a sneaky pick, especially if you've earned the 101, 102 in a super flex league, because I don't believe he plays this year. And I think you potentially could get a QB1 plus be back up in the top of, I mean, it pushes your rebuild back a year, but man, that could be absolute gold if you got Tua and then another quarterback rolling back in next year.
Well, and let's be honest,
I want to take the over under on the amount of times. Sorry, I want to take the over under on the amount of times we're going to hear, well, imagine if you thought to take Patrick Mahomes at the 102, even though he came out after, Alex Smith had his all-star year. So, I mean, that's what everyone is going to say. Taking Tua at the 102 is the smart move to me because QB's over everything.
Yeah, and I mean, you're at the 102, so that your team struggled, whether it's because you have injuries or because you just don't have the pieces yet. One quarterback is most likely not going to change that in year one. So you're probably looking at a multiple year rebuild at this point anyway. Most teams that picking 102 are, or they've made some really good trades and you're a lucky bastard. But most teams that are picking 102 are looking at a multiple year rebuild. So it's not a bad thing to have the best guy, even if he's going to sit first year.
I like that idea. Let this year be, another bad year, and then maybe you pair him with Trevor Lawrence next year. Imagine that duo when your rebuild is fresh and ready to go. That'll be a fun little duo to have. All
right, Matt Foreman, 103. Another quarterback?
Yes, I'm taking Herbert here for multiple reasons. One, because I'm forcing John to either reach for a quarterback or take a running back here. Second reason being that it is super flex. I see no way that Herbert makes it past the 106 in the actual NFL draft. I like his skill set as well too, as my consigliere, Mr. Bymaster, likes to tell me about his skill set. So yeah, I think we've got a winner there. I really wanted to take a running back, but I really wanted to force John to take a running back instead. So I'm gonna be vindictive here and take a quarterback.
I'm a little annoyed. My plan was to...
Can we call up Kyla real quick?
Yeah, my plan was to let Riley trade up if you took a running back so that Riley could take Herbert. Dang. Oh, man.
Consigliere. Can we... Consigliere.
Consigliere. All right, so Riley, there's this movie called Analyze This that came out before you were born.
Sorry, never seen it.
All right, do you really want me to... you really taking Herbert there at the 103?
Absolutely. That was a real pick.
Oh, I really do want to push this joke going even further. But I don't think we've actually been joking so far. That's the problem. Oh, man. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I will take a running back. And at this point, I'm somewhat undecided, but I'll go... let's go Jonathan Taylor in this one. I don't really have a preference between any of the top three running backs just yet. So I'll take Jonathan Taylor right now.
I was kind of hoping he would slide a couple of picks. I got to be honest.
I think the reason I'll take him is lately it seems like he's the one that more people are liking. And you know me, if there's one that's going to be more valuable than the other two, that's the one I'm going to end up choosing. So I'll be fine with whichever of the three I end up with. I don't mind sitting here at the 104 in Superflex. Good grief, getting possibly the best running back. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and that to me is the beautiful thing about Superflex is, yeah, the quarterbacks are going early, but that pushes so much value, and especially in this class where I think there is a top tier of three running backs, and I've got 4 or 5 receivers that I'd like to have on my team too. Man, the 104 with the top running back is a nice place to sit. All right, Riley.
How much before we move on? How often do we think that's going to happen? Do we think people will actually? Do you think Herbert will settle in as the 103? Like, does everybody think that? I kind of think he might not be the 103, but
If he goes, so if Matt's right and he goes in the top 6,
Oh, I'm definitely right.
I think that's certainly possible. I mean, if you have a starting quarterback that comes into the league, and you're looking at the last couple of years with Daniel Jones and Josh Allen, where people kind of missed out on them, I think you're going to get a little bit of that FOMO if he goes highly in this draft.
I think he's set up for success if he ends up in San Diego as well too, with a couple established weapons at wide receiver and probably one at running back, depending what happens with Gordon and Eckler. But I think he's set up for early success with a pretty good defense as well too.
If he goes somewhere other than San Diego, do you think he still goes that high?
Yeah, I think if he ends up in Miami, I mean, you could say, I mean, Miami's probably
the LA Chargers.
Yeah, whatever. You guys know what I meant.
No.
The real team.
Did I say
someone
San
had
Diego?
to be the douche, and I took the bullet on that one. Someone had to do it.
Sorry, Jesse Reeves.
The real team in LA is always going to be in LA, so that's fine. I think if he ends up in Miami, he could be fine too, because with Preston there, and apparently a resurgent Devontae Parker, and I would assume that Miami addresses their running back need within the first round or two in this draft. So another possible positive landing spot there as well too. So I think he's going to be fun wherever he ends up. I think Miami or LA Chargers are going to be the most likely landing spots for him.
Nice.
All right, Riley, we are at 105. There's still quarterbacks sitting on the board. Don't panic. There are some available.
I know as good as Cole McDonald looks right here at 105. I think I'm gonna have to go with DeAndre Swift. Top 2 running back for me. If I'm sitting here at 5 and he falls to 5 because of the quarterbacks, pretty good consolation prize. Didn't think Swift would last till 5 here tonight, so I'm very shocked and surprised and very, very pleased to get him.
Yeah, I think that's a nice look. What I had Jake Anderson, the artist formerly known as NFL Draft Talker, tweeted me the other day and asked me for a comp on Swift, and I hate comps. I avoided it like the play. I retweeted it and just left it alone. What do you see Swift or who do you see Swift as?
I don't know. He's one of the weird ones this year that I haven't really had a name that stands out when I watch the tape. I mean, he does a lot of things well. Like you see the LaShawn McCoy feet, lower half. I think he's McCoy. I don't think he's LaShawn McCoy though. That's the weird part. I mean, I don't know if I have a comparison for him because he's a little smaller. I was a little surprised that he was shorter than we thought he was when he measured in today at the combine. So I don't know. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a good thing that we don't really have hey, he's this guy. He's going to be an exact clone of this player. I think it's a good thing because we haven't seen a guy like him come out in the last few years, and I think that's what makes him so intriguing.
Yeah, I love the pass catching chops there. So
before we move on, wait. Can I just ask a question? Is that a good thing that we've never seen something like that? I mean, historically, the NFL, in particular, coaches are terrible when you have something new. They're horrible when it comes to new things.
But is he that new though? Like just because you don't have necessarily like a 1-for-1 comp, like I think he does a lot of things that the NFL has shifted toward. He catches the ball really well out of the backfield. He does a lot of things well in space. You haven't seen him carry a load in terms of a ton of carries, but you have seen him run up the middle when he's gotten touches. He can do a lot of things. He's got the highest ceiling of any back in this class. Whether or not he's the best one remains to be seen.
I mean, if you want to compare a skill set to where, I mean, Alvin Kamara is not going to carry the load. Like he's not going to get 95% of the touches out of the backfield like Jonathan Taylor is. Like Taylor's that guy he's going to get the rock. You don't really have to worry about your running back depth because he's going to be fine. But Swift is kind of in that mold where I think he might be better with fewer touches. It maybe look like someone, Kenyon Drake, I mean, explodes onto the scene in Arizona after after moving there, is he a 3-down workhorse? No. Is he an excellent playmaker who's going to do everything well in today's NFL and be really, really valuable for your fantasy team? Hell yeah. And even if Swift is kind of a Kenyon Drake asset, shoot, that's nothing to complain about now because he's in a prime spot in Arizona and he's going to get a bunch of touches. Not comparing him to Drake, just saying.
I'm going to keep the running backs rolling at 106 because I have a top tier of 3 guys that I really like, and J.K. Dobbins is going to be my pick here. I think that he looks like a back that is going to be taken early in this draft, and I think that he looks like a back who can be whatever a team needs him to be. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can be that workhorse, or he can be kind of the complete package, all-purpose back. And so that's where I'm headed. It was a tough decision, I think, here for me because my wide receiver 1 obviously is still on the board. So, but I am headed J.K. Dobbins at 106.
Anybody go wide receiver over the 3 running backs here after the 3 quarterbacks?
Russ Wood.
Nope.
Riley might go see Lamb over one of them.
Man, if you listen to your own show, you would know that you draft running backs in the rookie drafts.
Yeah.
Wide receivers in the startup draft. I don't appreciate you misquoting me.
If you're in the mid to late first and you can get a DJ Moore or Cortland Sutton, looking back, do you still do it? Yes. I mean,
yeah, but do you do it over Chubb? Like
Kamara.
That's kind of where you're at. Like,
yeah, but I mean, are you really passing on Kamara? Or are you passing on Royce Freeman? Like, it's a toss up. I think at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you could say the same thing about the receivers.
Yeah. Looking back like
you
that,
could, but
there's definitely receiver busts. What did we talk about recently? Riley and Bosch
Coleman and Josh Dotson.
I was just going to say,
I don't want to talk about Josh Dotson. It's too much heartbreak.
Mr. Treadwell.
He's back.
Hey,
he's
just
with
got
the
signed.
Jets.
That's true. You know what? Pick
Gase
up
is going
Josh.
to unlock him.
Yeah.
But
Matt,
I'm
you
absolutely
were
gonna go to
also
Jets
on
games
board
to
with
watch
the
Josh Dotson
all
play.
running backs?
No, I would have taken Lamb over one of the running backs as well too.
Which one? You and
Taylor.
Riley the same?
I would have
Yeah,
taken him
I was
over
about to say.
Taylor.
I'd take him over Dobbins.
See, here's
That's
what
just crazy talk.
again, it's for me philosophically, it is that running back, and it's the career arc for both of the positions. It's the running back. If he hits, I'm going to know in year 1, most likely. With the wide receiver, you could have traded for Cortland Sutton at the beginning of last year, and you could have traded any of those running backs, or not any of them, but a lot of those running backs that went ahead of him for Cortland Sutton at the beginning of last year, got a year of production out of them, and still got Sutton probably plus, depending on who the running back is. And I've been in this kind of argument for years now on Twitter, and it's just the way I build. I want those running backs in the rookie draft, and then I will trade. If I get a year out of them, great. If I get 2 years, if I'm forced to take a second year out of them, fine. But if I can turn them for a young receiver with some upside, one of those guys who was sitting last year where DJ Moore was, where Cortland Sutton was, where Riley Ridley was. No, Calvin Ridley. I always do that. Riley Ridley is sitting on a couch in Chicago, hoping he gets to the bench, then on the field. But Calvin Ridley, like, there are all of those receivers that are poised every year to take that next step, and those are the players that I don't need to roster them in their first year, because even if they have an AJ Brown year, he's still what was he, wide receiver 12, 13, 14? Like, he had a great year. He had one of the best years for a rookie ever, but he still wasn't producing like a running back that comes in. And in fact, I just looked this past week, there's an average of 3 running backs in the last 5 years. There's an average of 3 running backs that end up as a top 24 player as a rookie in each class.
So that begs the question for me: at what point do we hit critical mass?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair too. But
Are the rookies that are coming into situations that are making it tough to have those kind of years? And is the NFL changing enough that we've got enough of those running backs that we're going to have difficulties with that going forward?
well, for me, the answer is the way they're utilized has changed too, which is why I'm looking for pass catchers, because if you look at that trend also, they're backs who catch the ball. I mean, that's the easiest way to score. And also, if you're talking Taylor and Swift and Dobbins, they are probably coming into a situation where they are going to get a considerable number of touches as a rookie.
Yeah, but also what makes these guys so much more valuable than the guys that are going to come into role play, smaller roles. We'll just go there because role playing is a completely different direction.
It's a nice feather
These
boa
guys
you
have
get on
the possibility to. I look good. That's all that matters. I feel good when I look good. These guys can come in to be workhorse backs. Words. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think people think Swift can, whether he can or can't. I think Jonathan Taylor can. I think I'm a bigger J.K. Dobbins fan than probably maybe the rest of you are. But I think he can pretty easily. And like that's what becomes so valuable in this day and age of committees. If you can score, if J.K. Dobbins went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you can get a workhorse back who will probably find his way into the top 2 rounds of a startup next year, purely based on the fact if he gets 300 something touches this year, whether he does good or not. So that's another reason why I think, especially, how John Bosch likes to play, you get someone who you think can just catapult in value. And there's a much, much better chance of one of those 3 catapulting in value as opposed to CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, who very well can have maybe not even a longer career, but a better shorter career in like 2-3 years. I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility. But next year, in a couple of months even, these running backs have a better chance of just exploding than the wide receivers do.
I'm with you. I mean, that's why I took Dobbins. What do you think? J Mike is on the clock. He's run out like Minnesota. So
skipped.
Yeah, so Russ, you wanna slide up to the 107?
Yeah, I like sliding up into. No, I don't know what that means. Yes, I will take the next pick though. I will now
that was a lot
take
of
my wide receiver.
A lot of running back talk you just put out there.
I know it's killing me. And I'm not taking another running back. So let's see. Jake from Jordan Love. Oh yeah, no, I'm taking my wide receiver 1 in CeeDee Lamb. He, I think, has the higher ceiling of being that guy, the wide receiver 1 for a team. I kind of half love, half hate the mocks of him going to Arizona, because the idea of him going with Kyler, who he's played with before, I mean, whether it's real or not, I love the idea of that college connections thing, even though it worked out so well with Andrew Luck and Kobe Fleener, because I bought so hard into that. But I think he has the better skill set of being a number 1 in the league. I love me some Jerry Jeudy, but like I don't know if he's not that guy. I think he'll be awesome, even in fantasy and in the real life, but I still think Lamb has that higher ceiling.
You know, word about the BMI talk?
What is BMI? Bacon, meat, and incidental meats.
Just random meat. It's just not even a specific meat. It's just meat.
It's a hot dog, basic.
So I take that as a no. No, BMI doesn't worry you. I just seen that a lot on Twitter lately.
I mean, they're. Oh, I forgot to make the hand size joke about Joe Burrow. I ruined this. Let's start over. Oh,
yeah, run it back.
Damn it.
Run it back. No.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
like,
but no. As long as they're like, I had to be honest. Marquise Brown is like the only guy I've ever been like, no, that dude's little. I am not going near that. As long as they're not like 125 pounds, I think he'll be fine.
Marquise Brown still did okay. Also,
when he wasn't hurt, yeah, sure, fine.
All right. So there's a clear tier break in my mind here. So I think, Judy's the last guy on the board before that we get to that break. So I think it's pretty easy for me here for all the reasons that Russ just said. Judy wasn't the guy. I think he's wrong, and he's my pick here.
So you're wrong too. That's cool. You guys can be together.
No, look, I think Judy's got he's got a very good track record, college history. He's a great receiver. For me, I'm not really sold on either one as far as, one over the other. Not, obviously I think they're both got a good chance to be very solid receivers in the NFL. So if Judy is the guy that falls to me, I'm pretty happy here. So.
I'm going to stop the wide receiver run here and take the Clydesdale here. Unfortunately, I'm disagreeing with Kevin here. I don't think there's a tier break here. I actually think the tier starts with Judy. I have him a tier below Lamb. I have Clyde in the same tier as Judy. I think Zach would rather have another wide receiver over Judy, but I'm sure we'll get to that here momentarily. And but no, I think the upside of Hilaire is almost he's almost in that top 3 tier. I think he's almost in a tier by himself. He just looked so awesome last year at LSU. He caught the ball phenomenally well. He's great in space, super agile. I think he's going to end up as a 2nd round pick and hopefully go to a good landing spot. But big fan of the Clydesdale.
That is disappointing.
Is there someone else that someone would take?
There's yes, I would take someone else there.
I would have taken Clyde there. I was hoping that Matt would not take him so that I could have taken him with the next pick.
All votes for Clyde. Say aye.
I think I have a feeling I know who Zach is going
to. Zach's player is going to fall to him for sure.
But no, so I'm not so sure because backstage in the green room, we just had the Minnesota Vikings show up to come make pick 110 here. And so I'm going to bring J Mike in to the if I can figure this out. I'm going to bring J Mike in and tell him that you, J Mike, welcome to the show. You are on the clock at 110.
J Mike at the 108.
I'm going to give you a rundown. So far, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, C.D. Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are off the board. And I'm sure you're ready. I'm sure you're prepared. You look fantastic. How you doing?
Let me tell you guys, yeah, good times. Good times. I'm happy to be here. Life is so much fun. I get home and my wife says, hey, whatever you do, don't use the bathroom. Maya just blew it up. So, yeah, that's when 8-year-olds go to town on toilets. Apparently, that's Dad's call when he gets home. It's great.
Hey, she and I would be friends.
But even with the names that you just gave me, man, y'all, this is easy money here. I get to take.
Don't you do it?
My wide receiver 2 here. Hello, Deuce from the Bayou. Hello, Justin Jefferson. Hey, Justin Jefferson.
This was more fun when J Mike wasn't here.
All right, thanks. I'll go ahead and go.
I was going to get him.
Bosh, your beard is beautiful. I'll bow out. Thanks
Just
guys.
Kidding. Excellent pick, J Mike.
Man, I am crushed by that pick also. That was fantastic. You know me, I love Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. So, Bosh, you are back on the clock at 111 after being zoomed by J Mike.
Yeah, and I would be really, really happy right here at 111 to take the guy that I probably would have taken over Jefferson. So I'll take Cam Akers. I will go with the running back again for all the reasons we've described. That is the way that I play fantasy football. Cam Akers, he will have the chance to have an impact immediately. So, and then I'll just trade him for whatever wide receiver goes next, plus a little something else in the future. So, Cam Akers, pretty easy pick for me right here. He's kind of the last of the running backs that I think can really come in and pop right away and have that big, huge value burst. Everybody else, I think, can be, whatever. Maybe they hit, maybe they don't. But Cam Akers feels like the last of the surest, not sure thing, but the closest to sure thing running backs this year. So I'll take Cam Akers.
When it comes to Cam, do you all feel like he's the one guy with the greatest amount of flexibility in the first round? Like, I could see him going top 5, and I can also see him going in the same range in just about any draft, and it's going to be a pretty wide variance as to where he lands in from league to league.
There's going to be people that have loved him for like 3 years and have been waiting for him, and they might not have given up that love. So yeah, he might go a little bit earlier if somebody in your league is hooked on him and has been hooked on him for a while.
Well, and he's one of the most polarizing players in this draft. I mean, I know people talk about Rager, and I know there's some polarity with Ruggs, but man, Cam Akers is either you think he did it in spite of his offensive line, or you think that his offensive line didn't matter and he's what his stats say he is. And so I think you're spot on, J. Mike and John, that there's going to be a lot of variance with the way Cam Akers is drafted. All right, Riley, you're out of players now at 112. This is it. We're done. We shut it down. The 14-team 2-round super flex mock. We're out of players at 112. On to 2021.
At this point, just boot me off. I'm really unhappy at J Mike because he wasn't here, and I thought Jefferson was going to slip to me. If Bosch took him, I was going to take Cam Akers. It was going to be easy. Now I'd like to trade down, so I'll be entertaining offers for the next 10 seconds. I assume no one is going to trade up in a mock draft. So,
we did trade up in a mock draft last
time.
Year. That was a dummy mock, right? Wasn't it? And there was trading.
It may have been.
See, this is tough. I'm not going to draft the guy that everybody loves here because I think he's not that good. So we're just going to get that out of the way. Matt's not
here,
in
my
agreement.
friend. Here.
Yep, good. Matt's here. Listen to the dummy scouting brief, and you'll be low on him too. I'm going to go with Henry Ruggs III of Alabama. I know a lot of people don't like him. He's more than likely going to be a first-round pick. I mean, his speed not only opens up the field, but he plays pretty strong over the middle for a slightly built young man. I was lower on him to start the first round of film. Second and third rounds, he's a riser for me, and I think he does a lot of things well, and I think he has electric speed. He has that blue chip explosion. He may not be the most consistent asset. However, I think he's a more well-rounded receiver than he's given credit for. So I'm cool with him here at 112 at the end of the first. And you know what? If I'm 112, I'm probably sitting more than likely coming off a championship. So I can roll the dice a little bit. He's could be that boomer bust guy, but I'm cool with it.
That's totally false, Riley. Whoever won the championship should have been forced to trade that 101 or their first round pick, their future first, to get a piece to put them over the top. Must have been one of those crazy leagues where there was a trade deadline, right, Russ?
Oh, gross. I don't even know what that means.
All right. I am sitting
who's
here.
next?
It's me at the 113, lucky 13. And I get a decision to make because there are 4 wide receivers right here that I really like. And obviously it's super flex, so there are quarterbacks in the mix too. I think that I'm going to make
Can I trade up? I want to trade up.
I'm going to make a tough decision and ignore the broken foot for Brian Edwards and take Brian Edwards here.
I like it.
13 because he was my wide receiver 3 on film. I am going to gamble that he does not fall. I'm going to gamble that he is the player that I saw on tape and pass on a few of these other guys with question marks, but that I really, really like. So, J-Mike, I cede the floor and the 114, the last pick in the first round, to you, sir.
This is a really interesting place. And I have a lot of guys that I like here. There is a precipitous drop off of running backs after one Cam Akers. There is still several different wide receivers that I'm a big fan of here, so I'm going to stay in that bag. But this also gets into a place that is rather this is an interesting tier because I have three guys that I like a lot all in this area. And I think two of them actually have the same grade on film. So I'm just going to go with the one that I think that I want the most, and that's Jalen Reagor. I'll take Jalen Reagor here at the end of the first 114. That feels, especially in a 12-team league, I feel like this would be a place where people will be dying and clamoring to trade up to get to. With the, even though there are several,
I've been trying
a lot of
2
people
picks.
like. I think that Reagor's a guy that people will try to fuss and fight after, and along with a couple others here. But I like getting a Reagor here, and this could still be a place I think where you could probably get, and who better to ask than the addict himself? Is this a place? And Bosch, obviously, all you guys, all this value chart here, is this a place where I could turn around and get a 2021 first plus? At this point of the
Absolutely.
draft, or just a 2020 first, or 2021 first?
I don't know how much plus you're
I
going to
think
get,
you
but I
can-
think you can get a 2021 first.
With Reagor, if Reagor falls this far, there's one dude at least in your league that will pay up for him
For sure.
easily.
Wait, who
Well,
did J-Mac take? He's not on my board.
and
The
even
disrespect.
He took LaVisca Chenault, his wide receiver one.
even if Reagor doesn't, there are players in this area that somebody is going to make a play for.
Shut your mouth, Zach.
Sorry, this is a no table talk draft. How about you talk about them? Head to the 201 and talk about some of these receivers that are still there that people are going to be interested in.
Is it me? Am I on the clock?
You,
or am I just stealing
Russ,
this?
you are the 201.
All right, so my top of the second tier of wide receivers is still on the board. I am hashtag Team Big Clemson wide receiver. So give me T.
Yeah.
Higgins all day, every day. I love this man. He is awesome. He is every bit of a wide receiver one that you need. I know I'm throwing that around like the wide receiver one means anything in this league day and age, but he is that guy. He's huge. He's, if you want to do BMI talk, he's not as thick with 2 C's as people want their big guy to be. But the dude has amazing body control, great footwork on the sidelines. He's huge. He has a wingspan bigger than like the 6 of us on the screen right now put together. And the dude catches everything. He doesn't catch with his body. He catches with that huge wingspan. So I think this guy has, and man, everyone's mocking him to Buffalo. Imagine a dude who can throw the entire length of the field with a dude who can run that fast, jump that high, and has arms long enough to not be able to be overthrown. Like, that's just a thing of beauty to me. And it doesn't need to be accurate. I'm a huge T. Higgins fan in the first place. I love the few spots I've seen in mock drafts. Everything has drawn me to T. Higgins. I've been trying to trade up for 2 picks, even though Ruggs, Edwards, and Reagor, 3 picks that I've been trying to trade up to get T. Higgins. You guys have just been ignoring my offers. It hurts.
And you just got him as the 15th player overall. Nice.
Yep. That just shows.
So our host
Take
is
advantage of
gone.
people who are trying to
I don't know
trade.
who's
Probably
next.
won't take the guy you want.
I think Kevin's next.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Yeah, okay, Kevin is in the chat, or at least he's here. So, Kevin, with the second pick of the second round, who you want to take?
Mute.
You're
Yeah, so
muted, dude.
I think with this one, I really have to go back to trying to piss off Kyle. I'm going to go back to the quarterback rankings here, and and I'm going to take the guy that I guess is polarizing. Jordan Love. Guy can throw. Guy can move. It's a dual quarterback or 2-quarterback league. And to be honest with you, I'm not in love with any of the other players on the board. So might as well go with the quarterback. Hope he pops and flip him for a whole lot of value later.
I thought he might fall.
Did anybody have a bunch of players before one of these next quarterbacks? Out of curiosity.
I was already prepping for when I went on the clock. I was going to say, somebody give me a landing spot for Jordan Love, because if it was anywhere that I liked, he was easily going to be my pick. So that's a little annoying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just at this point, it just isn't another option in a Superflex league, in my opinion, to really go anywhere else. So
he's definitely got the higher upside than basically anybody else left.
Can we go back a second and just I'm curious of your all's thoughts when it comes to someone like Jordan Love. Let's say he does get taken as the 4th quarterback in this draft, like in the NFL draft, and let's say that he gets top 15 capital in terms of going in the top 15 picks. Is he a guy that you're willing to pick a little bit further ahead of these guys here? Let's just say for kicks and giggles, he goes to Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis has a early teens pick in the first. Is he a guy that jumps in the first round of rookie drafts?
Yeah, in my opinion,
the Clydesdale.
I might have taken him instead of Akers. It would probably depend on what team I had then. Like if I needed a quarterback, it would be an easy decision. If I didn't need a quarterback, I would be reaching out to every team in the league that needed a quarterback and say, hey, Jordan, come on up, get Jordan Love. I don't think I really want to invest that highly in him, even if he is given that kind of capital. I just don't trust that. But
I think there's a
push
lot of
comes to shove, I would.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of question marks with Love, especially off of his down year at Utah State. I think this is a good landing spot for him in any sort of Superflex league. I don't know how early he plays in Indy with Brissett still there. I think we could see a waiting year as we did with Mahomes with Love. And I just feel like this feels like a really good spot for him to go. If Kevin didn't take him, I was going to take him. But
so he was never getting to me.
No, he was not getting to you.
No. Should have traded up, John.
That's okay. I'm all right with another. I'm all right with some wide receivers sliding down a little further here, Doomy.
So Matt, who are you stuck with then?
Let's see who gets you, Matt.
So I'm gonna go a little off script here. I think it's been a little chalky so far for my taste. So I'm gonna mix it up a little bit here. I'm gonna go with a guy that I think I'm higher on than probably every person in here, and that is LaMichael Pirine. He's a guy that I watched on tape, and I really like his game. I think he does about 90% of what Edwards-Helaire does, and I think he's going to cost you significantly less. Love his burst. I love his agility. He's an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield. I see a lot of positives to his game that I really like, and at the 203 in a 14-team league as the 17th player off the math right there. Yeah, 17th player off the board. I'm pretty happy taking him there. I would have probably taken him over definitely would take him over Edwards and Rager, but someone I'm pretty happy to get here at the 203.
You know his last name's P.
Can we mention the name Pirine without shouting out to Kyle? That's what I want to know.
No, yes, we certainly can, because Samaje Perine is absolutely terrible. He's not even on an XFL roster right now. Well, I guess technically if you're counting Team 9 as a roster, which is now Kyle's favorite XFL team, I think he has a jersey for Team 9. But yeah, no.
Well, I'm pretty glad that you went off
You see
script.
what just fell to you.
Yeah, I already typed it into the chat. I will happily take Laviska Shenault right here. I mean, this feels like
he fell real far.
Yeah, this feels like a really far drop. I know that we had talked about tiers kind of, feeling like they were shifting, but this is a guy that I think can still have a pretty solid, I like him. I like Shenault enough that I would have taken him a little bit earlier if I didn't want to take Love, or if I definitely wouldn't have taken LaMichael Pirine over him. So I would have taken Shenault a few picks ago. I was weighing between Shenault and Love, kind of in that scenario. So I'm happy to get him right here.
Yeah, there are no BMI concerns with Shenault. He is an absolute truck.
Is it
Just real
possible to
quick,
have too thick of a BMI?
speaking from experience, yes. Yes.
Ask AJ.
Asking that to the wrong group of guys.
Beefy.
Just kidding.
But the lack of hair makes us streamlined. So
True.
Does anybody have Laviska in the first round?
I won't be surprised to see him go there.
No.
I don't have him that high, but
Yeah, I'm
could
with
see
you.
it
I
happening.
think he's definitely going to go there. I'm just curious if this group, if anyone has him in that stratosphere.
I do not.
no,
I do not.
not in super flex for sure.
So I guess that leaves me. I'm really glad that I'm picking right here because this is the end of a tier break for me. But I'll take Zach Moss. I know he's a very hot and cold prospect these days. I've seen him as high as like a mid first in some mocks, which is a little crazy for my liking. But overall, very solid player. You're not going to find a lot of flaws in his game. Dude just gets yards, and I'm excited to get him. Here in the mid second, even if he's like a Jamal Williams type producer, like I was able to stick Williams in my flex all year this year. When in leagues where you have 10 or 11 starters, and even if he's that kind of player, I'm cool with it. I'll take Zach Moss. He's worst case, he's an excellent handcuff and a flex play every now and then.
Yeah, I don't mind that. He's got that vibe to me of, and this is not a comp, it's not a playing style, but the way Kareem Hunt came in as a backup, but you kind of could see a path for him to be an every down back and a very, very high level fantasy producer. Moss has got that same feeling to me.
Agreed.
And I'm mad you took him because now I have a decision to make here at the 206. And it's going to be a wide receiver, and it's going to be with my head and not my heart, because my heart would take Tyler Johnson right here, but my head sees him falling in terms of draft capital farther than I would like to see him. And so I'm going to take Michael Pittman out of USC, and I've got them pretty close together, but I've really been excited about Pittman's tape. I've watched a lot of that lately, and I think he does a lot of things that I really like. For me, I feel like I just, Riley, we talked about this, and you said this way earlier than I did, and I didn't see it, echoed it. I feel like I'm getting T. Higgins, but 5 picks later.
And a better version of T. Higgins. Wink, wink.
Stop.
So, hey,
Does winking mean I'm wrong,
consensus
I'm wrong?
thing is cool, but Pittman's, he's such a savvy guy. And I think that obviously comes from his bloodlines because he's grown up learning how to run routes and how to win. And he's not the quickest guy. He's not the fastest guy, but dude is a very high IQ player. And I think that's pretty rare to pick up on tape, but he shows it. And it's phenomenal. Like I would have taken him, had Zach Moss not been there for me. So he was my next best available player. And honestly, I think he has a discount T. Higgins who could be better.
You had me to that last line.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. All right, J Mike, this is the pick
course
in
you're
the
with me.
first
You took
round
him.
that got skipped. You were on the clock at 207.
This is a really interesting space because there's a few guys that I like, and there's someone I feel like I should take. This will be a fun exercise in what to do. At this point, I don't want to take this running back here, but
go ahead and take a wide receiver.
I mean, there's several that I like a lot, and so hopefully I don't know if I get another pick before this is over with, but I'm sure one of them will be there. So I'm going to go ahead and take Keyshawn Vaughn because he is the last of the guys that I think at least can approach relevance in year one from the running backs. I haven't been able to watch all of them, but for the 12, 15 that I have watched, he's probably the end of the road as it pertains to someone who I think can be relevant in year one and really be an impact player to some degree. I don't think he's necessarily 1A in a committee. He's more likely to be a 1B, but I think he can be an effective 1B, and he's even shown that he can break long plays, even though his long speed I don't think is that fantastic. It's not that spectacular, but he does show a knack of running strong and making big plays. So I'll take Keyshawn Vaughn here in the middle of the second and I feel decent about it, even though I know that I'm sacrificing a lot of the fun people, fun wide receivers that I like a lot in this range.
It's interesting to me. We're now 21 picks in, right? And there are still players that you're excited about rostering, drafting, having on your team for the future. I know that the 2020 class lost some running backs. We lost ETN, lost Hill, lost. I mean, we were so excited about this class, and then the bubble burst. But we're 20 picks deep, and there are still players that are exciting.
For sure.
Except for the Russ, because he's looking to trade out again. I see you.
Dude, do you hear me typing away? I'm sending out offers again. No one's even looking. They're just staring. They're looking at their reflections. That's what they're doing. Bunch of self-centered hippies. That's what you are.
Who's up?
Is it my turn?
It is your
what
turn. if you'd like to make a pick, that'd be cool.
I stopped paying attention hours ago. No, I'm done. I didn't want to do this anymore. All right, so let's do this. What quarterback am I going to take? That's the real question, because that's what we're at right now. I'm ascribing to I don't know if you've heard of this guy. His name is J Mike. He's a smart dude, says a lot of smart things. Mighty handsome. He has said many, many times in the past few months that he is going to be all over these quarterbacks that fall into the second round, a la Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, all of these guys. Because
you were not supposed to be listening when I said these things. Stop it right now.
What person in their right mind can hear your voice and not listen? That's what I want to say. You did this to yourself by putting your voice into airwaves. Like, you need to just, tape it up, zip, lock, throw away the key or something. If you don't want, that's what you got to do. Now, my question is, which of these guys am I going to take? Do I want Jacob Eason, a guy who's super project, super armed? Do I want to take Jake Fromm, who is probably going to get taken by the Patriots, wait a year, and then be the next Tom Brady, because that's what the Patriots do? I love seeing Kevin shaking his head right now. Zach isn't giving me much to work on. There's a lot of Patriots fans in here, so just kind of wanted to keep that going. Do I go out of left field and take this just super mobile guy and Jalen Hurts? Again, they're all more valuable than anybody else, because we haven't said it in a while, but QB's over everything. I think at this point, I am going to take the safe route, though. I think Jake Fromm will be not bad enough to ever lose a job if he gets a starting job. I think Georgia tried to do something with him that he is not there to do. And if the NFL is hopefully smarter than people in college, the coaches and stuff, I don't know, whatever, sure. But I think Fromm will get somewhere. He will not lose you anything. He'll be that awesome QB2 in your Superflex leagues, which everyone needs because QBs are super valuable in Superflex leagues. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? And he will be able to get you those mid-double-digit points every single week that if you have a strong rest of your team, that's all you need. You need some dude that's not going to lose you a week. And Jake Fromm won't lose you a week.
You got Fromm or Taysom Hill?
Yo, Taysom Hill, oh man, we'd have to go back before, Taysom Hill, franchise quarterback. He's over most of these guys.
You know what? If a team paired Fromm and Taysom Hill together, they might have one full quarterback.
That's dirty.
I mean, let Fromm go to the Saints, and they'll both be on the field at the same time a ton. I mean, that's what they do now anyway.
I just love all of the ruckus.
Let them watch
Joe
a little
Burrow.
Dragon Ball Z and learn the fusion dance.
Yeah, here you go. I just love all the hate for Joe Burrow's little baby 9-inch hand, 9-inch hands, whereas Jake Fromm comes in with a whopping 8-something-inch hands and nobody says anything. I love it.
Doesn't get clicks to badmouth.
Under the radar, baby.
Jake Fromm. Nobody badmouths Jake from State Farm.
All right, so as much as I'd love to continue with the quarterback selections and really stick it to Kyle, I'm not going to, because there is a guy that Zach passed on that I think I want on my team. Tyler Johnson, come on over. I think it's really good value for him right here. I know a lot of people are down on him, but I think he's going to be a good wide receiver in the NFL. And to get him at this point in the second round, I'm pretty psyched.
Yeah, I would be too.
I was actually really surprised. I'm not going to lie. I thought for sure you were going to take him before Pittman. I'm kind of surprised you didn't. I'm very happy that you didn't.
It's that tier for me. So I've got with my wide receivers. I've got CeeDee Lamb at the top. I've got Justin Jefferson, and then there's a tier of 3 guys that are all very, very similar for me in Edwards and Pittman and Tyler Johnson, and I like all 3 of them. Tomorrow, if we had this draft, you guys want to do this again tomorrow? We could do this again tomorrow. I'm off work tomorrow, but tomorrow, if we did this, I might take Tyler Johnson in that spot. So I like the pick. I'm disappointed he didn't fall a little bit further. But Matt, you're back on the clock. We're here. It's the 210. This whole 14 team thing is throwing me a little bit. The Superflex not so much, but the 14 team, we're deep.
This is getting me prepared for my 14 team Superflex draft that I have with Mr. Buymaster, and I think like half of the people in this chat have been in that league by now. But I'm deciding between 2 wide receivers here, and I think what's going to decide it for me is going to be perceived draft capital here, and I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk here. He's a guy who I think has been getting some late love here. I think he's going to run in the low 4.4s tomorrow. He's a guy who was obviously stuck behind N'Keal Harry at Arizona State, but he's a guy who I really like. I think he's almost like he plays a lot like he's not as fast as Ruggs, but he plays a lot like Ruggs, where he's a guy who's a speedster, but he can also play over the middle a lot as well too. Something I think is who can really pay off dividends for you. And I think he's going to have the draft capital there too. I've seen a couple of mock drafts that had him in the late first. So I don't think he makes it past round 2, something that I think the draft prognosticators like, and I think they're hearing some good buzz from him from GM. So someone I'm going to take the draft capital vibe on.
Oof. All right. Oh man. Well, I think I'm going to have to go with one of the running backs that this would be a landing spot decision between the 2, but we are getting a lot later in the second round. I'll still take a running back because I think they still have the chance. Yeah. I wish I knew which one.
No pressure.
I wish I knew where these 2 guys were going to end up. Flipping a coin, really. Or should I just switch and just go with her? Nah, just man, I don't know.
Just take Kelly Bryant out of Missouri and call it a day.
Yeah. No. This is all right. I'll take Eno for now. I'll take Eno Benjamin right here. Towards the end of the second. That's fine. I don't feel thrilled with this pick, to be honest, but I definitely at this point wanted to take a running back, and of the 2, I don't really have a preference, so I'll just go Eno for now, so we can move along on the show.
Hey, blind picks and blind runners. I mean, what more parallel can you get? So I'm going to take.
Yeah, if it was an auction, J Mike, I would not be bidding at all.
So I wanted to go Tyler Bass, the kicker from Georgia Southern. I'm going to pass on him and wait a little bit longer. I really like him, though. Kid's got a huge leg, a lot of upside in kicker leagues. Totally kidding. Don't play in those. However, I'm going to take the next CJ Procise, who's probably going to break my heart, Antonio Gibson, a running back / wide receiver from Memphis. Dude has a phenomenal, well-rounded skill set. Really like what he can do with the ball in his hands. I more than likely going to be a running back at the next level who is going to contribute on third downs for whatever team he ends up in. I'm really excited. Probably not going to be a second-round pick, but in this case, we don't have landing spots, so I'm just going to gamble on what can give me PPR production, and Antonio Gibson will likely give me at least some of that.
That's fair, and I love this pick because
Shut up, Matt.
It was nowhere near any of my guys. It was, if we're playing Battleship, you hit the far corner away from all of my ships, and I'm happy about it. It gives me a decision here, and J Mike, unlike you coming in to crush my Justin Jefferson dreams, I think I'll leave the player that has your heart alone. And because this is a super flex, and because I've seen 2 years in a row the running quarterbacks come in, and even though they're not exceptional passers, produce for fantasy, I am going to go with Jalen Hurts and hope he ends up someplace where he can get some run, because I do think that he is exceptional with the ball in his hands and has a big enough arm and enough arm talent to be serviceable, Bobby Koch, in the NFL and produce points with his legs. And so that is where I'm going with the 213, the second to last pick, and I'll hand it over to J Mike for Mr. Irrelevant.
Did you say Bobby Cox?
Yeah.
Close.
Thought so. Okay.
Super relevant is what you meant to say. A couple things that we glossed over. A couple Sun Devils there going back to back at 210 and 211. Matt, love that Ayuk pick. I'm rather a big fan of Brandon Ayuk. And then not so much of Eno, but that's okay. No, with Jalen Hurts, he definitely falls into what Russ was talking about earlier in my camp of I'm trying to get all of the disrespected, hated QBs, because I think that he does pose some viability for fantasy. So I'm curious where he goes with draft capital and everything else. Which this also reminds me, I don't think that the NFL is just going to go that bonkers over, and maybe they will, over the skill positions, because when we list all these guys out, I mean, this is 28 players that we all like a lot. And everybody can't go in like the first 3 rounds, right? There's still got to be guys who go in the 4th and 5th and so on and so forth. So I'm curious how draft capital, or how we view through the prism of draft capital this year, because there's so many players that we like a lot, but some of these guys won't go near as high as we hope either. So I'm just curious how that's going to shake out. With all that said, you all thought that you could come into a mock draft with your boy J Mike, and a Kentucky Wildcat wasn't going to go
No.
before we close this thing out. You thought I wouldn't get an award-winning player here at the 214, Lynn Bowden Jr. Call him a running back, call him a wide receiver, call him punt returner, call him late for dinner. You can call him whatever you want to do. I'm going to call him 6 points because that's what he's guaranteed to give you every single week. If you didn't hear this already, this is kind of like the tight ends playing basketball type of deal. Hey, did you guys know that in only 8 games at quarterback, Lynn Bowden led the SEC in rushing? Did you guys know that? That's going to be the new fun fact that you guys can glean over throughout this draft season. But I'm excited to be able to get Lynn Bowden. Hopefully he does not get buried somewhere late. Paul Hornung Award winner, the most versatile player in college football. And he joins a list of players winning that award, like Saquon Barkley, like Christian McCaffrey, like Rondell Moore, like Odell Beckham, and Tavon Austin. But yeah, he's an afterthought. So there's that.
Perfect. That wraps it. This blows my mind. We still got Antonio Gandy Golden on the board. We still got Bryson Hopkins, who's my tight end 1. Jacob Eason's still on the board. Devin Duvernay, KJ Hamler, Harrison Bryant, the Mackey Award winner. But we still got some talent after 28 picks in this draft. which is-
McFarland, by the way, was the running back I was weighing against Eno. To be honest, like I would have no problem with him switching out him for Eno if one of them lands in a place where they might get more run this year and they're not further down the depth chart right off the draft.
Yeah,
Denzel
this is
Mims. Man.
yeah.
Old sticky balls.
Oh, sticky balls.
This is such a deep class. I'm gonna run this back real quick with the second round. We've got T. Higgins. We've got Love, the quarterback. We've got Samaje's cousin, LaMichael P. Ryan at 203. Laviska Shenault. We've got Zach Moss at 205. Michael Pittman at 206. Keyshawn Vaughn at 207. Jake Fromm at 208. Tyler Johnson at 209. Brandon Ayuk at 210. Eno Benjamin at 211. Antonio Gibson at 212. 213. Jalen Hurts, and 214. Lynn Bowden Jr. wrapping it up. So that is going to wrap our draft. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I'm going to throw it around the horn. Plug what you want. Give us your handles. Tell us where we can find you. I know where we can find you, but tell the people, and then I'll come back in and wrap this. Bosh, you can start us off.
Okay. I am at QBs over everything on Twitter. No, just kidding. I am at John Bosch FF on Twitter. Things you can obviously hear me on multiple podcasts: Game Night, Wall Street, Panic Room, and then most recent thing I've done is I put it on my pin tweet. Is I have done my 2021 projected values, where I think I will value a guy a year from now. It's a pretty fun process. I highly recommend everybody do it. It is extremely challenging to try and think of just how much the value would change on guys in a year. So with that, let's slide it, I guess, over to Riley.
Thanks for having me on to the Dummies. I'm on Wall Street. I'm on Dummy Scouting Brief. I appear on the Dummies every now and again. You can call me the Chris Thompson of them because I'm the third down scat back who's there every once in a while. Other than that, I'm the only Riley Bymaster on Twitter, so I'm not going to give you my handle again. Just Google my name, and I will see you guys on the flippity flip.
I think
No
we're
one
all just
says
stuck after someone says on the flippity flip. I think we should just end the show right there.
Roll the credits.
Yeah, and no one says flippity flip quite like Riley. I mean, he's the best in the business when it comes to that phrase, which is not good. I'm Kevin Cotillo. You can find me at Kevin Cotillo on Twitter. I do a brand new show on this very feed with Dynasty Outhouse himself, the DFPN Split Takes. Some people have said it's the best show on the feed. I think it's just Russ and I, but that,
I've said
it's
that.
been said.
As have I.
No, it's we're having a lot of fun with it. We're 2 episodes in. It's been a good time. So doing that, obviously Riley and Bosch already mentioned Dynasty Wall Street. That's over on the Dynasty Trade Calculator podcast feed, so you can find us there. And yeah, that's it. I think I don't have time for anything else.
Okay, well, he said my name, so I guess I'll go next. I'm Russ Fisher at Dynasty Outhouse on the Twitters. And I just need to say, last year, you called this the Dummies Roundtable. And I DM'd Kyle at the time because he said, hey, let me know what you thought of this. And I'm like, it's awesome. Put me on your next one, please, because that sounds awesome. It took me a little over a year, but I got it. It took me months of begging and pleading and annoying the crap out of Kyle and Zach. And they finally let me have a show on there at work. So that,
Which is why they stuck you with me.
yes, he's my bottom rung. He's that first step on the ladder so I could work my way up. But yeah, split take show, so much fun, so awesome. Quick, unbiased trade takes, and then we just argue with each other because me and Kevin just like arguing with each other. Other than that, I argue with my other co-host at Brian Hart FF on the Trade Addicts podcast, my dude. That's on the DLF family of networks. And I stole Dynasty Game Night from John Bosch because John and Matt Price were boring and not making shows. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And they're like, we don't have to do things. Okay. So yeah, man. Man, I don't know. I kind of take over podcasts because I get bored. So there might be more that I can't remember that my wife hates me for doing. But that's where I'm at for now. Just don't let me on your show because I will just completely take it over. But thanks for having me on, guys. This is mine now.
I would say wait till we replace Kyle with you. It's perfect. You edit, right?
So many shows.
Russ, you are the physical embodiment of the coronavirus.
That's both the nicest and most horrible thing anyone's ever said to me.
And right now on the screen, you're right in between Riley and Matt, which means that scouting brief is a month away from being yours as well. Because
that means I have to learn who these college players are, man. Ain't nobody got time for that.
On Twitter at JMikeCheck at JMICCheck. Dummy Blitz here on the Dynasty Dummies DFP
the real bet show on
work
the feed.
We've got obviously the open bar as well, co-host that, so that's always fun Tuesday evenings. And I'll keep it short and sweet. Just happy to be here with my brethren. Zach, thank you for the invite.
Oh, thanks for being here. And Matt, not last but least, or something like that.
I will wrap it up here. You can find me at Fat Mormon. Switch the M, switch the F. You can find me at Dummies Scouting Brief. That's it. I'm probably the least active person on here, podcasting wise, at least. But that gives me more time to prepare for the Dummies Scouting Brief. But yeah, I'm occasionally on the Dummies podcast as well too. So I'm sure I'll be back on there several times in the next couple months. Looking forward to that.
For that must have been lost.
Looking forward to night 2 of the draft. That's probably one of my favorite podcasts of the year.
I am 100% with you. We're going to have to figure out how to get a bigger feed going for that because 6 people is not going to be enough for the day 2 of the draft this year. Make sure if you're out there listening, you're following all of these gentlemen. These are friends of the Dummies, friends of the network. Make sure you're following the Dynasty Dummies at Dynasty Dummies. Make sure you're following the network at DFPN Network, the only network in town. And also, I don't know what else. Like Kyle plugs a whole bunch of stuff here.
What about yourself, Zach?
You figured, no. I am at
Tacit Assassin 13.
Yeah,
he literally is what his name implies. He is quiet, but when he talks, it is brilliant. It is hilarious. Listen to those podcast openings. If it's not J Mike's boy Gabe, it is this guy over here. And you can't tell by looking at him, but he actually, nice sounds come out of his mouth and funny words. It's wonderful. It's great. So don't let him be like, oh no, I'm just a guy. I'm a dummy. No, he's awesome. He's smart. And finally, someone who is not Kyle is here to let him have it and know how much ass kissing I'm doing right now to get on the actual Dummies show.
Yeah, I'm realizing right now exactly how you got on this network.
100%. I have never hidden that.
I'm definitely writing that down in my notebook. Russ is in for the dummy draft show. I may boot Kyle, who knows? But that does it for us. I hope everybody out there enjoyed this. I had fun because whenever we get together with everybody, it is a blast. And that is the show. This has been the Dynasty Dummies podcast. Thanks for listening. Peace.
I legitimately giggle every time you do that piece, by the way.